deflation would only speed up the rate of in other words, instead of saying rate of deflation in this case, say the rate of abundance for society would only, because that's the output, more ideas, more hope, more, and so living in that paradigm would mean almost in time, virtually no need for money. It would be a staggering abundance, and Bitcoin is the path that allows us to get to that, because it's the only free market. That whatever relative value of Bitcoin that you think is today, as all prices fall against it forever, is almost infinite if you could hold on to it long enough, because the purchasing power of it keeps on increasing. Yes, it'll be volatile.
In a world gripped by unsustainable debt and manipulated monetary policy, Jeff Booth offers a radical yet urgent insight. Bitcoin isn't just a new asset. It's the foundation of a new financial order. Our current economic model rewards inflation and punishes productivity, creating widespread inequality and systemic fragility. Booth argues that deflation, often feared, is actually the natural output of technological progress and abundance. But our financial systems built on debt are incompatible with that reality. In response, Bitcoin emerges as a decentralized protocol, offering an honest alternative where value isn't extracted by central banks, but preserved and even grown through holding. This shift isn't just economic, it's philosophical. Bitcoin challenges centuries of flawed monetary thinking and offers a hopeful future grounded in transparency, freedom, and exponential innovation. This video breaks down Booth's profound ideas and explores how Bitcoin is fundamentally repricing everything we know about value, money, and wealth.
Subscribe to Daily Bitcoin Trends for expert insights, real-time market updates, and proven crypto strategies. No hype, just smart analysis to help you make better decisions in crypto.
If you read it today, you can see everything that I predicted is just coming true kind of at the pace that I said it would come true. And it's driven by productivity increasing, exponentially increasing. And that productivity should be flowing to society in the form of lower prices. If that was the case, then every single human on this planet would get richer by that productivity rate every year, even if they didn't work, right? So they would just get richer the natural state of a free market is deflation, and everyone would get richer by that productivity rate every year. But the existing system has to capture that productivity, because if you allowed deflation from it, the existing credit system would completely collapse. So it has to continually manipulate money at a faster and faster rate, actually offsetting the productivity rate, which concentrates wealth into very few hands, very few businesses. Then government spending becomes everything. As it's not a free market at all. It's a control system. Anything that stops the productivity rate from flowing to society is not an economic system. So no matter what you call it, it's a control system. So the natural state of a free market is deflation, and in that world, we would get richer through creating value for each other and using the things that create most value. And we trade with each other all over the world, and it would just keep on reducing prices everywhere. That's very negative for a system that extracts time control from you, because all of those jobs that require people to tell you what to do go away. So what's happening in Bitcoin is people are finding a different reality, one filled with hope, truth, hope, and abundance. And as they're moving to it, they're more and more people are finding that. Now, we were really early, and most people, and it's easy to simply, hope is way more powerful than fear. I talked about this for 10 years before I wrote the book, and at that time it was like glossy eyes. Yeah, you're a crazy person. Completely, you're a crazy person. And that's what compelled me to write the book is watching things get worse and worse, and then projecting how much worse they would get from the existing system, because they were exponential patterns, and seeing what that would do for my kids and the world at large from that system. So I did not want to write that book. I felt I had to write that book, and when I was writing the book, I remember I was from the technology system. I was all of the people inside this thing that still today can't see it because they're enriched by it. Many of those people, this was my cohort, and it meant it went turning against those people being my truth. But I had to. And out of that, like once you see an insight like that, and it is really simple, right? It's really simple. And maybe some of the big things in life, and those breakthroughs are simple. They've always been there. They've always been self-evident, and it just clicked for people, and a whole bunch of people realized that was true. Now, I will say this: people, even today, I get all the time that people they knew what I was saying was true, but it took them like 3 years to actually fully comprehend how much depth that meant, because it changes everything. So I get that too, because we don't have, if we say 5,000 years of human history, and all of our knowledge is built on previous knowledge, and all the books we read, and all of those books we read contain error codes from the financial system and the economic system and the political systems we've always been in, then all of our neurons fire against that. And we don't have the architecture to hang new thoughts and new paradigm off of.
Jeff Booth makes the case that Bitcoin aligns with the laws of abundance, not scarcity. In a truly free market, unlike the manipulated fiat system, productivity leads to lower prices, making everyone richer without needing more work. But our legacy system, dependent on debt, suppresses deflation to stay alive, concentrating power in the hands of a few. Bitcoin flips that paradigm. It lets deflation run free, turning productivity into purchasing power. Unlike real estate or stocks distorted by credit, Bitcoin reflects real value and increases over time. As more people self-custody their Bitcoin and exit the fiat structure, they tap into a parallel system that doesn't just store wealth, it rewrites it. With a $900 trillion global financial system teetering under $400 trillion in debt, Booth warns we are on the cusp of a monetary upheaval. Bitcoin, still in its infancy, is quietly absorbing value and could soon become the base layer of global economic truth.
So even Bitcoin, owning it, let's say owning it in an ETF is step one. You're trying to make money in the financial system. And you're not actually secured with Bitcoin because you don't have your own keys. So, and then level two is and maybe you own some other Ethereum and everything else. So layer two, you only own Bitcoin and ETF. Layer three, you move to self-custody. As you go down that path and you realize it's a completely independent financial system that's and protocol that's emerging alongside the other one, and it's repricing the other one. As you go down level by level by level, you never go back, right? And you're deep. So now if you just take all of the Bitcoiners, there's a whole bunch of Bitcoiners that are going to sell their Bitcoin for homes, because they think now I can get a home. But they fail to grasp that home is massively overvalued in the fiat system, and it's marginal. It's falling to its utility value in Bitcoin. And if they just waited another 3 or 4 years, they could buy 20 homes. And so, why will it distribute? It'll distribute forever because of that. And if most Bitcoiners don't know that, and every single person that you're talking to is just a step one, new people, then we are so infinitely early on. It's repricing the entire system. So how much is the entire system in today's purchasing dollars? It's $900 trillion balance sheet. That $900 trillion balance sheet has $400 trillion of debt. If you paid back the debt at $1 a second, it would take 12,873 years to pay back. By the way, in my book, in 2019, the debt was only 250 trillion. And in my book, the preceding 20 years had an under 108, 20 years had an under $185 trillion of growth in debt. So as technology was moving faster, debt had to offset the other side. So in 4 years or 5 years, we've had an extra, it took 20 years before, now we've had an extra $150 trillion of debt. We're about to hit a cycle that's just going to be staggering. So now if you take that $900 trillion of, so you can just, and it's not a perfect example, but just imagine somebody purchasing every day and they own their house free and clear title, and it's in that 100 trillion, or if they own enough equity in their home, then they feel like they can purchase, borrow against home, borrow. So that would be a good proxy for how wealthy people feel, right? Those assets minus but those assets include all the banks, include every business, every building that you see in downtown, a corner store, your house. It includes everything globally, 900 trillion. And so the purchasing power of that, if Bitcoin replaces that, and all Bitcoin has to do to stay decentralized and secure, and it will inevitably reprice everything.
Booth's thesis is clear. We are witnessing a once-in-a-civilization shift from a corrupt system of inflationary control to a decentralized future of truth and abundance. Bitcoin is more than digital gold. It's a vehicle for a freer, fairer world. As it reprices every asset, from real estate to global debt, those who understand its depth early stand to benefit massively. Booth urges that owning Bitcoin isn't just about profits. It's a philosophical alignment with hope over fear, freedom over control, and truth over manipulation. We are infinitely early in this transition. For many, Bitcoin starts as an investment, but over time it becomes a lens through which the entire financial system is re-understood. From ETF exposure to full self-custody, each step deepens the journey into a parallel economy built on math and protocol, not policy and power. This is not just about wealth. This is about building a future that works for everyone.